For standard 6, I'm going to talk about public funds and property. As an educator, we are entrusted with public funds and property, and we should honor that trust with a high level of honesty, accuracy, and responsibility. So for this, I just put that we should use good judgment when we are spending school funds. They're not meant for personal use. And also, they need to be used for educational purposes like supplies that we're going to use in the classroom. We need to spend them with the idea that they're going to benefit our students in their learning. That's the whole goal behind the funds. Also, for property, we need to model to our students the proper methods for using all school supplies that are presented to them and what not to do. Misuse would be, like I said before, if we use any of the funds for personal reasons or personal gain. Teachers are held accountable for this by always presenting receipts for what we purchase, presenting lesson plans that go along with the items we purchase, and also documenting whenever money is turned in for school-related funds. Next is Standard 7, remunerative conduct. An educator should maintain integrity with students, colleagues, parents, patrons, or businesses when accepting gifts, gratuities, favors, and additional compensation. For this, I think that we're offered, we offer students opportunities where we can, hold on, let me think for a second. Okay. On this, sometimes they may want to provide us with supplies for our classroom or resources or money, but we're only going to accept if they want to provide it for their own child. Mm-hmm. And we also provide opportunities for fundraisers so that parents can help contribute in that way to raise money for our schools. What not to do, we do offer tutoring, but if we're going to tutor students and be paid for it, we do have to get it approved by the board, so we don't want to accept money for tutoring, or we can offer tutoring for free. And like I said before, we supply the technology equipment. We don't expect parents to buy like Chromebooks and iPads and things like that, and we provide a lot of the time pencils and paper and any additional things. We don't expect parents to pay for that.
Mine is maintenance of confidentiality, and as you can see, you can read over this. You have the handouts in your hand, but the main thing that I wanted to get across to teachers, and not just older veteran teachers, but as a mentor that's working with a brand new teacher, not knowing can't be an excuse for something. I didn't know. Well, we sit down and we make sure every time that we meet that we're covering something new. For instance, confidentiality. One thing is about sharing information, discussing about children you cannot do. I know it's easy to talk about it in the hallway amongst colleagues, but that would be breaking an ethical code. Also, with confidentiality, and with the state testing the way it is, I usually say that it's literally like having a document from the Pentagon when we start state testing, because it's that important. So clearly there was something that was done in the past by teachers to make these rules. For instance, unplug, can't copy, don't do this, don't have your cell phone on, you're 25 feet from the door. It may be anything, but I want my new teachers to know that these are the steps that you take. Don't look down when you're walking around during a state test. Look up to even give the remote idea that you might be looking at the text. That way you know for sure that you are covering all of your bases when it comes to confidentiality. Because I would hate for one of my new teachers to get in trouble for something that we as educators could have helped them with. And that would be, the unethical thing would be to do is talk about children, like we discussed earlier. Standard 9 is the abandonment of a contract. In essence, it says that if you, for instance, are not going to fulfill your obligation, then that would be a violation of the ethics code, okay? Whatever you have signed to do is what you have to fulfill. And I'm not gonna show this video because it's a 7-minute video, but, I thought it was excellent, and we're gonna give this out to the, email to the staff. And I'm gonna show it to my new teachers because it goes through all the Supreme Court cases and all the important information that you need to know. Why did this happen? And it talks about the due process of teachers. And so I'm gonna make my new teachers watch it. If you're a new teacher or even a veteran teacher, it's great to look at and the reasons why things happen in the educational system that they did.
Okay, next we're going to kind of talk about a scenario just to kind of see how the ethics laws are put into place. This is a scenario, and it is about social networks because that is a big problem we face these days. It says, Mr. Y is a new teacher in his first 90 days of employment in his district. He has made friends with many staff members and invited them to visit his social network page. On his website, Mr. Y has listed quite a bit of personal information. One of his colleagues visited the site and became very concerned because the site included a statement that Mr. Y was attracted to young girls, stating, "The younger, the better." The colleague notified the principal of this information.
So we just wanted you to take a minute and think about what possible issues, concerns might this scenario raise. So if you would, just talk amongst yourself at your table and see what you think about this scenario. We gave you a copy of it so you can read it over and talk about it with your colleagues there for us.
It's obvious that you can't be attracted to young girls. The big question would be, what grade level is he teaching?
That's one question.
Because if you're making a statement like that, then that means you're pretty bold, and that is very concerning for a man teaching young girls.
That's a great
Got a
comment.
hold of that information as a parent, they were very concerned.
And that's a law that's putting girls in a position where they might be possibly accosted by an adult, and you don't want to put anybody in that type of position. You want to stop something like that before it would ever happen. So the hard thing is that we, as teachers, don't want to tell on our friends, and you don't want to tell on your coworkers, but something like that, you're putting children in danger, so you have to, because if something does happen and then it's found out that you didn't report it, you could actually be held accountable too, and then you may have contributed to a child's life being changed because they were in a situation with that teacher.
That's great. And how do you feel about social media? Like, do you have a Facebook? Do you post things on Instagram? How do y'all feel about that as educators?
And do you let parents befriend you on Facebook?
Not, if I was already friends with a parent before I had their child, and if I was already friends on Facebook, then yes. But I won't friend them while their child is in the
While your
classroom.
child
If I didn't know
is
them previously, I won't friend them, and maybe afterwards. And I don't friend any child until they're not my student anymore.
Right.
Then they might, sometimes children like to keep up with their teachers, like they like to see my child's pictures and watch her grow because they hear us talk about our kids during class. So they want to see how, keep up with us, but you have to constantly be aware. I don't like to friend people, like kids, my students and former students especially, on Facebook as much because people can tag you in something that might be inappropriate.
Exactly.
But I'm okay. I do better with Instagram because I completely control what I put out there, and nobody can tag me in something without,
That's a great point.
you know what I mean? So, just because you never know, a family or a college friend may tag you in a video or something like that, but it's completely inappropriate, and parents and kids may see it and they judge you for that.
Right.
But on Instagram, I'm a little bit better, and it helps. It helps them. It helps your kids, former students that want to keep up with you, but without you being
That you have the
subject.
control of it.
Yeah,
That's right.
without
That
you
was
being subject to
wonderful.
somebody else being.
That was great points that y'all put together. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much for
Pause.
coming too.